logistics of all of the larger plans that you have involved. The fact that it's coming up reversed is one, you need to really pay attention to the details, okay? Contracts, everything. As much as you're able to with whatever legal or professional help you need to be able to be very much on top of the details, okay? Which is hard to do, especially if they're like big picture plans, right? But it's all in that, okay? So there needs to be one like real good communication between you and your partner about all of the steps and making sure that you understand all of them, okay? And then notice anything that might be getting in the way of that, whether it's if you have too much else going on, you need to cut down on the other responsibilities and focus on this area entirely, or if there's any part of you that's kind of resistant to the process or it makes you anxious, anything like that, you need to sort of calm it down, anything that's kind of getting in the way of that, okay? So it's very much calling you to do like some very detailed planning going forward, all right?
Wow.
So then the other thing too, like this, the Hierophant is like the Pope of the tarot, okay? And in this particular one, it's coming up reverse, which is that the path that you have going forward, yep, that one, that's the Hierophant, also reversed. The path that you're creating is unorthodox and different from other people's, okay? It's unique to you. One part, what it comes up for people also when, queer folks who are in relationships, anything that is different than what is traditional, So expect your journey then to be outside of the norm and you having to carve out what's unique and special for both of you, okay? So it's interesting. So this is the success card if you wanted to show that. So if you notice, this is what it looks like right side up. It's like literally you all riding in on your horse in success of all of it you have to, or you have planned it in mind. And it's coming up reverse, which means one, make sure you're doing all that careful planning, all the attention to details, but also like don't limit yourself. Like it's almost like you're kind of hiding your own talents and abilities. You're kind of playing things small potentially, even in terms of your plans, okay? So think bigger, anticipate success, and think more from a place of bounty. And because this is like right side up is you guys riding in on your horse success, but it's reverse, which means like it's like you're kind of playing it small a little bit, a little too conservative, okay? Yes, and then maybe a little too safe, okay? Yeah. So this is interesting, like you're, I'm going to describe this person for you. Let me know if it's one of the two of you or someone around you. It's someone who, the Knights are very much in the prime of their life. They're like, late 20s to late 40s, around there. It's like that time of when you're most productive, that kind of age range. But the Knights of Swords, they're very much guided by their intellect. They're very smart, very common sense and rational, okay? It's reverse, which means that they tend to be a little bit negative in instead of using their intelligence for positive, constructive things, they tend to be like, yeah, but no, that's not going to work. Or at the very least, at worst, they're very cutting and even like abusive with their words, So you have to keep in mind that sort of energy. Does that remind you of yourself, your partner, or someone around you? Yes? Okay. So notice how that vibe is affecting this planning, all of that. Because in order to embark on that, you need to be in a very positive mindset and still keep your common sense vibe, but not for destructive. I could see it as being also distracting you guys from it. An example would be like if you all started fighting each other or arguing with each other as opposed to, and one of you kind of taking over the plan as opposed to both of you collaborating. That would be an example of that, okay? So that kind of strong vibe along with this, it's success, but it's challenging. It is a challenging success, okay? The other person that's coming up is a King of Cups. The cups are all about feelings and emotions, okay? They're more the feelings person, the cozy, lovey person, but they also can have like a temper. They can kind of have all over the place. That's why it shows up upside down, because like right side up, they have their emotions under, not control, they're not suppressing them, but they're in charge of them. When it's reversed, it's like the emotions get ahead of them, okay? So this is saying these are things you need to be careful with in doing this plan, okay? One, getting too negative, destructive, or attacking each other, or letting feelings, emotions getting the best of you. Those are the things, okay? All right, there is a departure, a leaving of a previous situation, but again, it's reversed, which means it's happening. All of this is suggesting some kind of delays, okay? There may be some delays in the process of this that you're planning. The best that you can do is collaborate as much as you can and not get on each other's nerves, basically. Not like, you know what I mean? Not get in each other's way of the plan. So ideally, it's like the departure is coming, but it's not quite, you haven't built up quite yet to it, all right? So like, for example, there's a different cards in the tarot that represent departure, leaving situations. This one is saying it's not like what you guys had is bad, but it's not fulfilling anymore. You are being called to something bigger. So the fact that it's reversed, like I said, you have to tear down any like emotional blockages towards that, okay? So the moon is very much about like the subconscious, things that we kind of hide, anything that's kind of dark, like shadow work, that psychological work. The fact that it's reversed means that I feel like there needs to be some more communication. Like you guys need to have some more conversations about what you want, and in a way that it's all cards on the table, literally, about what you're wanting in the house. It's not just about the house. It's the details. It's one thing, but it's bigger picture. What do you both agree on and can compromise on?
Yeah.
This suggests that maybe one of you might be sort of holding back in what you guys really want. It might be either saying, yeah, whatever, that's good, that sounds fine. But then later on you find out, yeah, actually one of you hated that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a bit of hesitation and holding back either on both of you or one of you, okay? So what you're holding back on is actually establishing your quote-unquote family, okay? And what that means, family, regardless of whether you have actual children that you're raising, whatever you bring into your home, that is your family, okay? Your chosen family, and very much your legacy going forward, okay? So I say that because it's a very positive card, the Ten of Pentacles. You notice in this particular deck, it's all centered around the matriarch, the strong feminine energy, and all of her generations below her, her children and grandchildren, her pets even, and all her bounty, right? So it's coming up reverse, which suggests that what you all might be hesitating around or what's scary is that, it's like we're starting in a sense of chapter for your family. It's going to be different than the way it's been up until now. There's something about manifesting a home and land that is going to hit you hard for both of you. It has like a significance that's generational, okay? Because like it's very likely that for your previous generations either didn't have land or had difficulties with getting it, right? So for now, one, it's unfamiliar, it's different than what has been done before, and it's new. This is new territory, okay? So I would suggest, need to take a step back, take a breather and say, okay, what are we actually building here? Like why do we want a home? What is the significance of getting terreno, getting land? And that will be very scary if it's not familiar, right? Absolutely, because if you think of other families, regardless of ethnicity, of privilege, it's assumed, oh yeah, well, grandpa has his terreno and his mansion, right? Dad, they've got their house, and I'm going, well, yeah, I just get my house, and that's what we do. But if there's not that tradition, one, it's scary. This is what I'm feeling, this hesitation.
So scary.
But there's huge opportunity. Huge opportunity because of what you're going to leave behind of your legacy. And also there's going to be like generational healing that you will do by having land. Okay? And it's going to mean, I think, what it meant to our grandparents. That's the significance it's going to have for you.
So moving it on.
Yeah, and it's different than it does, like for a person of privilege or people who just buy properties and flip them. It's a different vibe. This, you all kind of get the significance of it and what it means for your relationship. And that's what you all need to have a deep conversation about. From then, the details of it, come to surface, and then you can actually like embrace and create, you know? So think 10, 20 years down the road, think to your retirement, think to what sort of couple in their own home you want to be for your community, if you have that, right? Like, and I see a strong couple like that as almost like a tree for the community, that you welcome the squirrels and the bugs and the everything. Come in, and then you can be that source of support and guidance for everybody, other couples, other queer folks, and that, it's easy to get too ahead of yourself with that, but sometimes that can be inspiring for some folks, that could actually be the motivation to get past any toxicity or fear that can get in the way of your plan, okay? Yeah. What do you think about the cards that have come up?
It's fucking on point, everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Because we've been trying to get a house. We live in a mobile home.
Okay.
And right across the street is my parents.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't have papers. Neither do my parents.
Okay.
And I've been meaning to have a conversation with them. I'm like, you guys are getting old.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest.
Okay.
And I want to buy a house, but there's a guilt about living. I'm like, emotionally, I don't want to be taken,
Yeah.
because we can buy a house and, do this, but I was like, I would like to get a terreno.
Yeah.
So we can both build the house together. So they can have their own privacy and I can keep an eye on them.
Right.
And I can support them.
Right.
Because I'm not putting savings away for their retirement that they're not gonna have it. And they're getting older.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I buy a house, I'm gonna be invested fully on the house, on my life.
Right.
And I will rather you guys invest with us and get a terreno.
Yes.
So we can have a share, like your place, my place in the middle, a place where we can have,
The generation.
right. And so it was so connected to that. I'm like, I've been having that anxiety of that. It needs to be addressed, it needs to be legal, and I've been having a lot of anxiety over it because of my husband,
Yes, absolutely.
So.
It was the beginning card. There's an acknowledgement of baby steps of beginnings, okay? Like you've gotten past the initial idea, like it's coming together, but you still have a lot of work to do, a lot of homework to do. And so part of the way to get through that is to, each step of the way, like breathe, calming the anxiety. Otherwise, either you two will clash, or you will clash with your parents potentially. But there is a potential of clashing between you all because of unrevealed emotions. And like you said, guilt, that makes sense around this card. Why this time, like starting something new and not wanting to, out of guilt, not being ready, any of that hesitation. So the good news is that this card benefits from practical advice and instruction, okay? You're not inventing the wheel in that respect, okay? You are for your family, right? But people, like, you have done what you have in mind, okay? So it'll be up to you to go and find them and for you to own your victory, own what you want, okay? Let's say, all of this is like we talked about, it's a reaction to not having had this growing up, all the fear part, all of that trauma, right? Let's say there was none of that, right? It's like, what do we want to do? Like, we want to buy this. Okay, let's go find out about it. Let's go get this information. So there will need to be a bit of that, a little bit of emotional distance, actually, just so you can get some of that legal stuff done. You're good at keeping notes, however you organize things, practical part, or if your partner does that more, that will be helpful. But notice, okay, so all of these cards came up reversed, which means it's really more your perspective that's a challenge than the actual task, okay? So I'm going to flip them so you can see what the story looks like from a different perspective, okay? All right, so you and your husband terreno. So you're going to start planning for it. Okay? Excellent. Plans are happening. And you're going to see how this is done in your community, how it's sanctioned, how it's supported, and under what auspices it has to happen. What institutions do you need to call to mind? And assume that they're going to support you, okay? Through that, you're going to be victorious, very successful. And the partner that has the smarts and common sense, he's going to come in, swords a-blazing, and he's going to have a real good eye, like, oh, that terreno right there. No, the other ones aren't any good. And it's going to be actually motion, momentum. And the other partner that has the feelings is going to bring the emotional direction for what this home will be like. It's not just terreno, it's home. And then you'll be able to leave behind a mobile home existence that was fine, but is no longer suiting you anymore. Doing this will allow you to address all those fears that had kept you behind up until now. And you will be able to create an environment for the elders and those to come. ¿Verdad? Qué bonito, ¿no?
I was hoping for that.
Yeah, so it's there for you. It's just noticing how that shift in perspective can help. Believe it or not, I have found attorneys and all those legal types to be very helpful because they're not feeling all the generational trauma. They're like, you need to fill out this paperwork, right? And then you're like, okay. Then you can focus on the emotional part, the movement part of like, what do we want this home to look like for us, for mom and dad, for all that. And next, we don't know what's coming, right? Yeah. So.
For my puppies.
¿Verdad? Exacto. We don't know what it has to be big enough to encompass like all the unknowns, new things that are going to come your way. That's why we want bigger houses usually when we move, right? We don't know. We're going to fill it with love or things or puppies, whatever. Yeah.
Good, good intentions and good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everything.
Exactly. Do you have any questions?
Give me the validation that I've been needing because being the oldest,
Right. That's good.
first, everything that I'm trying to make moves, there's no guidance. And I'm responsible for the failures or, the winnings.
Right, and that's you moving into your king status, okay? You're going to be aging into, through that experience, your authority as king. That's why it's hard, and that's why not everybody does it. Yeah. They're like, oh, yeah, there's a lot of writing on this. Yeah. This is saying with a shift of perspective and honest communication between you and your partner, you'll be good. The Mauricio mentioned.
The communal.
¿Verdad?
You're so fucking wonderful. It was right.
I'm so glad we met you. I know it meant a lot to Sebastian to meet you. He doesn't have very many Latinx gay friends, that he can look up to and connect with, and you were just making him laugh and make him happy.
I had a great time.
I'm so glad.
And even dancing with you,
Yeah.
it spiritually moved me in a different way.
Wow. That's fantastic. I
Yeah,
love that.
because you were just dancing, and when you were teaching, he's like, oh, she's my teacher. And I'm like, I'm not a teacher. And then when you were showing me how to do it, I felt your power of it. I was like, I don't know, there was an empowerment of it. And I'm like,
Yeah,
this is what she is.
a lot of it, for me, it's been the learning to take up the space that I'm given in the world,
Yes.
And when that's done confidently, people are like, oh, and it's not done in a threatening way either. It's just a way that other people can enjoy it and observe it.
I feel like I was doing that for a long time. Because I've been going to the bar since I was 17 when I met him.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And now I'm 37. And I'm and then after COVID and everything, going back to bars is just I hate gay bars.
Oh, right.
They're the worst. My husband is like, I want to go to a gay bar. And I'm like, it's so exhausting because, you talk to people and they give you the full attention, and then they try to like grab your dick, and I'm like, oh
Right.
no, I'm,
Right.
you know, I'm just
Awful.
being friendly.
Like I'm a person.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh no, and then
Then
conversation
you go,
dies.
Then it's done.
Yeah.
It's true.
And so I find it exhausting to do that. I'm
I
like,
get that.
I want to go to work because I have things to do, you know? Because I put things on hold for so long,
Right.
and now I want to do all of these things,
Yeah.
you know? And I have a good job. I feel very blessed right now. I'm in a really good place.
I'm so happy for
I feel
you.
for it, you know?
Here's the thing then, having what you just said and what came up in the cards, it's you are in a better place, right? The limited mindset, the traumatized part of you needs to catch up to that. It hasn't caught up to that yet. You know what I mean? It's kind of like if you get a really good quality pair of shoes but you've never had them before, you're like, these feel weird. Like I don't understand.
I don't want to jump.
Right, and then you're like, no, these are actually like a good pair of quality. You're like, okay, so I'm not going to be spending 5 pairs at Payless. Like, no, you're having like one really good. Like, okay, like, you know what I mean? It's like a mental shift. So that's what this is. It's all going to be like mental shift for you.
Makes sense. It makes total sense that it's connected.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. Thank you so
happy for you.
much
Thank you.
for that.
I really appreciate it. And thank you for your support. It means a lot.
No, I mean you're the real deal.
Gracias, gracias.
I want to bring my parents
Okay.
and force it. They don't want to travel.
Oh, I know. That's how parents are sometimes.
They're like, no, we're good.
They're like, we'll stay here.
You're like, you go, ve todo por mí. I'm like, no,
Ay,
you
luego
need to
nos
live.
cuentas. Then show them the pictures. Like, so I met this witch. This dancing bruja.
It's like, I couldn't find her broom.
I know, right?
She arrived in a vacuum, a Hoover.
Exactly. All right, sweetie. Here you go.